Joney Faragher. I'm a member of the House of Keys for Douglas East.
So obviously your thing this week has been buses and the lack of development of basically a new bus terminal for the Arm, which has been over 20 years waiting. We were expecting to have one by now on the Lord Street site over the road there. That hasn't happened. And then there's been talk potentially about using outside of here. Just from your point of view, how have we got to this point?
So it's been 21 years since we demolished the Lord Street bus station, which was a perfectly serviceable bus station. I obviously wasn't in politics at that time. Not really sure what the reasons were behind it, but I think that the politicians at that time had no idea that we would still be in this scenario 21 years later. Now, I thought, having not had bus facilities for Douglas passengers in our capital city for 21 years, that the DOI, as the owner of the bus facilities, would actually would welcome a move to get bus facilities in our capital. So I put in my motion, which was for the July Tim Wilder last year, and it was unanimously supported. What it looked for was a temporary solution to not having bus facilities whilst Lord Street was being developed. So what was discussed in the debate was using the C terminal here. We know that historically it's been used for buses, so we have assumed that there was therefore no issue with access and manoeuvrability. And it's got all of the facilities that you would want in a bus station. It's got toilet facilities, it's got a cafe and a place to grab a coffee, it's got shelter, it's got seating, it's got adequate lighting. That's all the sort of list of things that I'd thought would be required really, and that I'd mandated in my motion. So the DOI were tasked with investigating this and bringing a report, a detailed report, it was detailed investigation to this, bringing a report on that plan that they'd drawn up. So we received a letter a couple of days ago from the DOI Minister, which just stated that the C terminal wasn't viable. They didn't really give any reasons for that, just stated that the manoeuvrability wasn't, made it not viable. And that their solution would be to continue supporting the development of the Lord Street site.
Just on that though, when the deal was done with the developers for that site, there was a part of that contract which said bus station must be delivered by this point. And obviously with COVID, things sort of changed and dates are pushed back. We'll get that. But have you seen any evidence that the DOI have still pushed for this at all?
I haven't seen any evidence, but I will be asking, I will be trying to explore that. I think we need quite an in-depth exploration now of what this detailed plan was that the letter that the DOI Minister sent was based upon. So we've all seen the historical pictures of buses and double-deckers parked out here. I think it's unlikely that manoeuvrability is going to be an issue, that access and manoeuvrability is going to be an issue. I've had emails from people who with far more expertise than I have on this matter, who said that if anything, all that would need to be done was a small portion of the dwarf wall here being removed, if anything, which doesn't seem like it's so far outside of the realms of possibility as to make it not viable. So I think we do need a detailed explanation now of why it's not possible to utilise the C terminal, because I mean, 21 years is just far too long, and are we perhaps the only capital city in the world that doesn't have a bus station? I don't think that's an accolade that we really want.
So what next? What is the next stage of your push to try and get something done on this? Because I know you've got support with June Watson, spoken previously about, he likes to point out he's a regular bus user, and he has spoken about the lack of facilities at Lord Street. Do you think there's the will within Timor again to try and push harder for this?
I think there is, because of the fact that we had quite that enthusiastic and people were on board in the debate. Excuse me, but they did really see the need for this, I guess. I think over TT, many people use the buses because they tend to be much more frequent, and we hear people complaining. I'm a regular bus user as well, and I do hear people complaining about the lack of facilities, but it isn't just for the passengers, actually. The drivers as well, that would be really nice for them to have a proper place to have their breaks and to change over shifts that was warm and dry, and that meant that they could actually interact with their colleagues. But I just feel like we're not going to be a forward-looking, progressive jurisdiction that attracts people if we can't even get ourselves sorted to get a bus station in our capital city.
So what next? What is just returning similar to the map? Or?
So like I say, I think we need a clear exploration of exactly why the DOI has concluded that the sea terminal isn't viable. And if that explanation isn't forthcoming, then I'm potentially going to put in another motion to actually ask them to bring forward a plan to utilise the sea terminal until the Lord Street site is completed.